Okay, we are live. This is Soundbooth Theater Live. Welcome, everybody. Yes, we're back. We're back from Vegas. And we are listening to Cruisin' by Aaron J. Morton. This is the ending song. And, well, okay, first of all, the request, when I asked Aaron for this song, basically I was just like, hey, give me something that's kind of like Grateful Dead-like, that just kind of, it's just something chill for Carl and Donut to drive their motorcycle to, you know, something that's like a little bit carefree, a little bit just fun, and like a little break from the mayhem. And in typical Aaron fashion, he gives us something way better than we were expecting. Like, way better than it has any right to be. Right. And something that we can't even imagine being without now. So, Aaron, thank you again.
Yeah, those mandolin licks are great. I love this one coming up. This one right here. That's my fave right there.
Yeah.
Tim said this reminded him of Creedence Clearwater.
Yeah, also,
sort of
yeah. For sure.
Yeah, but it's also got its own thing going on. Like,
but he also has a little bit of that like Jeff Buckley thing in his voice, like that little bit of. I told him that little bit of like croony kind of, very sweet, like it's lovely. Well done.
I am actually emulating. Oh, what band is it? Oh gosh, I'm gonna short circuit on remembering who it is. There's a song I literally was just like, I'm gonna sound like that guy.
And now you're blanking on it. Now I'm curious.
I'm sure you'll remember while we talk about you and your music. But for anyone who doesn't know, this is
Steel Drivers.
Steel Drivers. I haven't even heard that. So for those of you who haven't listened to it already, this song is featured in episode 3 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl Audio Immersion Tunnel. I'm Proud of You, Bro, is the name of the episode.
I'm proud of you, bro.
And this comes up when Carl and Donut finally get on the road, basically in their copper chopper, but also we just use it as the end credits music because it was just so good. We actually couldn't use the vocals for in the actual scene, but it shows up after the credits so that we actually could play the whole song. But I'm sure it's going to show up more as Carl and Donut drive to other places. I'm sure it's going to show up in season 2. It's just fucking perfect. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit more about your songwriting process, because not only did you just give this to us, but just last week you released another single of your own, like that's just standalone, that has nothing to do with any of our stuff. It's just your music. And you've been, I don't know, how many tracks you have on Spotify right now?
Gosh, it's gotta be like 7 or 8 or so. The process is very difficult to describe because it's always changing. What's great is these 2 songs in particular are great to talk about because they're so complete opposite in process. So Cruisin' for DCC is something where, you know, you guys kind of described this road trip song, like it needs to kind of like even like a little bit of a twang to it, and I was like, okay. And I spent basically like 2 weeks just sort of thinking about it and figuring that lick out. And then I just did a 9-hour recording marathon to put all the parts down, basically all in one day. Versus my new single, Girl of the Vine, I've been working on for 1.5 years. And it's totally the opposite process. I wrote it while I was producing. It all sort of started one night with just sort of a random brainstorm session with a friend of mine, Seth, who's my roommate right now. We were hanging out in this studio and we were just like, we should just come up with something. I had the guitar out and I was just like, just start with like a little thing, and 4 hours later, like there was like an idea of like this being like this fantastical Jane of the Jungle story, and then I just started messing with it over time. I've had a lot of stuff happen in the last year and a half, so it was like I would work on it for a couple months and then I'd drop it and I come back to it. It has almost 400 individual track layers.
Oh wow.
Most of which are like acoustically recorded, with a couple of these. Yeah, and there's my cover art, which is, there you go.
Yeah, so there's also a huge difference in sound for these two, and I think the amount of time that you spent on this one is very evident. Like you said, I mean, 400 tracks, I didn't think there'd be that many, but holy shit, there is so much depth and so much instrumentation to this song. And one thing I really love about the whole process was standalone
there we go.
Is that you bring in influences from fucking everywhere. Like you use so much orchestration as well as pop timbres, and it really like culminates into such a fucking I don't know, like a
what you're talking
like
about is about to culminate. So exactly all of that, where it's like inspiration from like soundtracks to like Jacob Collier's like level of production to a little bit of jazzy stuff. I actually go through these vignettes starting right here.
Right, this is like my favorite part.
A little bit of folky banjo and bells and arranging this is definitely just sort of getting to the end of a section and deciding like what would be the most delightful thing to hear next, and just following that until it feels right to go to the next section.
Let's crank it a little bit here.
And then here's the little halftime breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Love that little violin. This is all recorded on my hammock in my sunroom. Again, and except for like a couple tiny little things, most of this track is recorded on 2 of these AKG C414s, so 2 microphones for like the entire thing.
Oh, this totally reminds me of Bjork. The acapella stuff. It's actually
Play around with
not quite
vignette.
here. It's like when you hit the hook again, right?
Yeah, little reminders.
Here it is. Fuck yeah.
So good, Aaron.
Thank you.
And one of my favorite things that you use is the MIDI upright bass with the bow. It sounds so perfect.
Yeah, there's a mix of sampled strings and me actually hacking away on a cello too.
Right. Yeah, so anyone who likes the songs, a lot of the songs that we release with Dungeon Crawler Carl, with Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, he did an amazing song for the end credits of, the very end credits of Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon. If you guys like a lot of the music that accompanies our cinematic audio, just search Aaron J. Morton on Spotify. You'll find, 8 or 9 different pop songs?
Yeah. There's There's definitely like 4 or 5 of them that are within the last couple of years that I'm really proud of. I basically just like release a single every several months, and
Yeah.
but I've got probably a record number of under construction ones right now. So hopefully I'll be putting out more in the coming year than I have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, what about like? So here's one thing that kind of disappoints me about music nowadays is the idea of an album is kind of antiquated.
Mhm.
People, I don't know. I guess for a long time, people have just sort of wanted to listen to the hits that are from the radio anyway, right? But for me, I've always been like, oh, cool. When I hear a song on the radio, I know that it's probably one of the worst songs on the album. And I will, but if it impresses me, I'm like, oh man, I bet this is going to be really good. So then I'll pick up the album, and all the deep cuts are like the best ones. So that's kind of like going away even further, and people are kind of just doing singles in production and releasing singles. But how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that, or do you wish that people listened more to longer form stuff like an album?
Yeah, well, yeah. Basically where I'm at with it is this year I've listened to a few really cool albums that I've just loved, and I do think that what is great about an album is that you can make a statement with more than 5 minutes, and there can be sort of an overarching gesture
Theme.
that's being made.
Right.
Like there, for me, like my top albums of the year. Well, my top album of the year right now is Nickel Creek Celebrants. And the first time I listened to it, I was just hiking and I had my headphones on, and I listened to it in completion. And just by the end of it, I was just like, this is it's just a brand new thing for me. It locks into like some of my loves of music in the past by Chris Thiele and his projects, but it's also just like obviously a complete work. And I love that. But I mean, Ahmed, we were talking about this just the other day, talking about not just the economics of an album. It's definitely easier to just put out a single and market it, and then be working on the next single, and that's better for starting out artists, because if you put out an album and it takes you a few years and then you don't have anything, you don't have any content to put out for a while, that kind of a thing, that makes it really difficult to move forward in developing an audience and developing sort of a brand, and so all of that stuff does kind of get in the way. But at the same time, every song I've put out has been so wildly unrelated to what I did in the previous song. The single method sort of, that kind of works for how I put stuff out, and how it's like my last 3 were like a Halloween spooky pop song, an acoustic and vocal lullaby, and now a fantasy adventure. Who knows what'll come next. It's not great for playlisting necessarily, but what it is good for is creative freedom, and so that's nice.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a mixed bag. I will say I would love to put an album together even soon, because there's a lot of musical ideas that I think complement each other, but I haven't pulled the trigger on committing to that yet.
Yeah. What about like an EP, right? Which most people don't even know what the fuck that means, right? So
yeah, it's like a baby album.
Right. Back when records were a thing, an EP would be like 2 or 3 tracks per side on a record. Yeah. And the record would usually be like smaller, like this big. That's what an EP would be. Yeah. But then,
extended play.
What do you think about that? Maybe doing that between your single between your singles and like going for a big album?
Oh,
Is that
I would
something?
probably very much prefer to dip my toes in with an EP before a full album. But yeah, I think for an artist like me, the decision is going to come down to what am I trying to accomplish outside of the time constraint.
Yeah.
And so, am I trying to do, you know, a big journey or a contemplation on some sort of concept or anything like that, and is it going to take a long time, or am I going to try to just do something that's like, okay, here's what I'm exploring, and here's like just a quick, like a musical day trip instead of the
Yeah.
big vacation.
Right.
That it'll just be about figuring out what fits in that packaging best.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. In ways, I kind of miss the album, but they're still around, right? The old ones are
Yeah.
still around, and really all it means is that you don't have to make an album,
Yeah.
right? You know, you don't have to look at it as, oh, this is, I miss this thing. It's like, well, you know, you can still do it, you can still release it if that's what you want to do. But I think that there was a time when an album was like, okay, a record label is going to pressure you. We need an album. We need a full 40 minutes of music from you.
Right.
And a lot of the times, you know, some musicians just don't operate like that. They don't know how to do that. And so, like, half the album's going to be filler that no one likes anyway, you know? So,
One band that I think did this really well, kind of an interesting case study for where we're at right now, is there's this British group called Fizz that just launched the band this year, a few months ago. And basically they just like, they went as hard as you could imagine with branding. They built an email list. They did all sorts of really, really exceptionally themed things. The website has all sorts of, it has a voice, and they did these great videos, and they have an album that I listened to and loved, but it was like, oh, this is actually pretty short. It's a half hour, and it's their debut album, and it comes out and but it's like what they've done, and I think what is sort of difficult to do is get everybody on board, because like what you're talking about with people basically hitting shuffle on Spotify, you know, it's really hard to sell a record. and that used to be just, oh, all you have to do to make money is sell records. And now, since that's kind of difficult, you know, we got to come up with like all of this merchandising and all of this other stuff, which is kind of funny, which maybe this transitions us a little bit to Vegas. Cause like we were talking about all sorts of things with the industry of audiobooks, and like, you know, there are streaming services that are trying to test the waters with audiobooks, and you know, there's a whole system of, well, let's not try to sell individual products, let's do subscription services and things like that. That really does put a strain on creative people.
Right, because, you know, then it's in a streaming model, all the content is expendable.
Yeah.
Like ultimately it's like everything that people listen to, let's say in a streaming platform for music, there's zero investment in trying to listen to something or listening to it over and over, either way. So like if for instance, do you remember ever buying an album that you thought was going to be good, listen to it, and been like, eh, but then that's kind of like all you had to listen to, or you felt like kind of gypped, so you wanted to listen to it again to make sure you don't like it, and then you eventually do like it, like you find things that you actually do like about it and it becomes one of your favorites? Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah. Like I find that there's a whole experience where if I love it immediately, I'm going to love it for the first few days, and then I'm really never going to want to hear it again.
Yeah.
And some music is very much just like, it's kind of a slower burn, and then I really like it. It lasts longer for me. So sometimes it's because the hook wasn't really like really catchy. But other times, and this is my favorite, is when it really is just a little more complex. It's a little more mature, and it's not just like a earworm pop tune. There's more to it. And so, of course, the first time you hear it, you don't fully, you get to like savor it a little bit longer. I love it when that happens.
Right. Yeah, and I've had that experience plenty of times where it's like, no, just give it a shot. But if you don't spend any money on it, if there's no investment associated with listening to it in the first place, then it's so easy to dismiss. It's so easy to just go, next. This is taking work to listen to. I don't want it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird how that works out in the market and in people's musical tastes. I think that streaming kind of necessarily makes complex, deep music lower value in the market.
Yeah,
at
it's
the very least.
there's always pros and cons to every little part of it. Like at the same time, like it is somewhat easier to become an an artist with an audience. But it's also it's you're not making exactly the same thing. It's like it's easier, but you have to do this slightly different thing that you probably would have done if you were just creating, what your initial intention was. If you have to kind of package it for content or a product, or the hook has to happen by this time, and you cannot do a song like I've an example of this is in Girl of the Vine. I basically got it to where the intro is as short as possible before there's a kick and the vocals start. And like if you listen back to just a few years ago, Blue Bayou literally starts with like just bass, and then a couple other instruments come in, and like finally the song starts like 30 seconds later. But that doesn't really playlist well. Like people skip it, and so nobody's really going to get there. And these are just like funny little economic things. But I think that the goal would be, you take it back to how this was designed to work, which is the radio single hopefully does bring people to the album, where your non-single tracks can be a bit more patient and a bit more, designed the way you want them to. When I went to Acoustic Camp, Chris Thiele was talking about how like he hates the way that people find music through the algorithm on Spotify and things like that, because you're finding music that sounds similar. So you're literally just staying in a sonic box instead of what he does, which I love, which is he listens to a project and he listens to it to figure out what parts about it he loves. Like the bass player on this project is nailing this. And so he'll look up the bass player and he'll see what was the most recent thing that person was involved in. And so he just jumps that way from project to project. And that's a really organic and wonderful way of exploring music, because an individual artist isn't always going to sound the same. You're not going to get stuck in the box of I just Spotify knows I like folky lo-fi music.
That's how I discovered music when I was first really digging into it. I'd be like, man, who is this? Like you said, who is this bass player? What the fuck else have they done? And then you go explore them, and then you find an instrumentalist in that group that you really dig. And then before you know it, you've gone through the entire spectrum of all the genres, just following individual musicians along the way.
Exactly.
So, I mean, like that's, it's really cool because your Girl of the Vine song, it kind of reminds me of what music is like in my head.
Sweet.
Where it's just every type of genre kind of comes in and fades out and like comes and visits my mind, and like it's just sort of the way music works while I'm imagining, while I'm trying to come up with ideas. It's just the more genres that you explore, the less of a line there is between them, and the more interesting places you can take a certain song, a particular song, without having to even think about genre. It's like, oh, I want this element, and you blend them in a way that just becomes so much bigger than all the sum of all of the parts, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of, like, I'm a big fan of maximalism, so it's
Yeah,
yeah, I'm all about it.
yeah. It's I kind of that to my detriment often. Like I feel that way about music. I want to put too many things
What?
in. Yeah, indeed. But yeah, man. So thanks again, Aaron, for coming and hanging out with us and talking about the music. I was so hyped when you first showed us the Cruisin' tune. Again, guys, if you haven't picked it up already, episode 3. I'm proud of you, bro. From Dungeon Crawler Carl, the audio immersion tunnel, just released yesterday. Aaron made a banger of a song that's in the middle of the episode at some point, and then he plays out the credits. So yeah, fucking excellent job on that. And then of course go check him out on Spotify, Aaron J. Morton. He's got 8 or 9 different pop songs, and one just released last week that's just like so incredibly epic. It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, but it's also catchy as hell. So yeah, if Aaron, you're free to hang with us as long as you want to. We're gonna get to news here, but peace out whenever you feel like it. No pressure.
Cool. I've got Soundbooth work to do, so I'm gonna hop off. But thank you so much for joining me, and well, we're just gonna keep on making cool stuff. So
that's what we do. Thanks, Aaron.
Peace out.
Aaron J. Morton, lead composer for Soundbooth Theater. Thank you, sir. Alrighty, so on to news. We just got back from Vegas, and Aaron was with us there too, doing a good job repping us. And it was a great time. We reconnected with some authors that we had worked with before, and that we're going to be working with again very soon. We already basically have a new cinematic audio series that's going to get started next year that we're really excited for. I don't know if you guys like the mystery thriller genre, yes. But you know, it's a big. I mean, we've done it before, not very much of it, but we've done it, and I'm really chomping at the bit to get back to that genre. I really, as much as you know, you guys are used to us exploring the crazy, fun sci-fi, fantasy, lit RPG shit that we usually do. We revel in that. We love making big, ridiculous productions and dealing with larger than life characters. But when you deal with mystery and thriller, it's much more grounded in reality, and it's much more dependent on subtlety and believability. So really looking forward to working on that. Now, I don't know that we should. Okay, Ahmed's got it pulled up, like we want to show it, but not quite yet. You guys will just have to speculate because we haven't signed a contract or anything.
Oh, okay.
We still have some discussion to do and making sure, but it's like 98% in the bag because we've worked with this author before, and he's only just like a year and a half ago, basically struck gold with this new series that he's got. But yeah, we'll have more announcements about that in the coming year. Also, what else happened in Vegas that was really exciting?
Y'all went
It's
to
definitely
the
a
Sphere.
crime thriller. Huh?
You went to the
The
Sphere.
Sphere. I took a nap in the Sphere.
I heard.
If you guys didn't know, the Sphere is not just a fake thing that someone made up for Facebook clicks. It is a real. It is that is not the Sphere. This video is a lady stealing my goddamn karaoke microphone. There's a bunch of stuff that you can catch up on from us. If you go to our Facebook group, you can find some fun photos and videos and stuff of us just hanging out, having a good time out there. But we made some good friends, some new friends. We have some exciting stuff coming up because of our time here. So keep an eye out for more of this news. But other news, let's see. Yesterday, of course, the Dungeon Crawler Carl Audio Immersion Tunnel Episode 3, I'm proud of you, bro, just came out. And you guys should hear it because, number one, Gary Furlong takes the role of the juicer, and he's fucking hilarious as always. And also to listen to Ryan Reed play Frank Q. He replaced both of those guys, replaced me in those roles. Really, really fun new takes on those characters. And then also Aaron J. Morton's song, Cruisin', is featured on that one as well. So big deal episode. Also, let's see. Tomorrow, Industrial Strength Magic episode 4. So
yeah, I think episode 4 or 3. I can't remember.
For those of you guys who don't know, Macronomicon is a big lit RPG author who's been around for a little while now. He is the brother of another Soundbooth theater author, Sarah King, who we adore dearly, and whose work we love to put on audio. Well, this is a new experiment for us. We got Steve Campbell to narrate this one, and we're releasing it in basically 1 hour chunks, hour and a half chunks, looks like, in weekly episodes. And you can, just like with the Dungeon Crawler Carl Audio Immersion Tunnel, you can pre-order the entire series, and the episodes will just drop into your library every week. But yeah, we're just seeing how this works out. I think that you guys are going to like it. Macronomicon is a very clever writer. Steve Campbell is a veteran narrator, of course, and we were very excited to work with him finally on a project. Annie Ellicott does all the backing female characters. Justin Thomas James and myself do a couple other support characters. And yeah, check it out, guys. First episode is free, and we have, let's see, wait a minute. When we first released, it was episodes 1 and 2.
1 and 2, yeah.
1 was free, 2 was available for purchase. 3 came out last week, so 4 is tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, so go see if this is your new addiction. This is Industrial Strength Magic. It is a lit RPG.
Can we play a bit?
Sure. Yeah.
Can you hear this?
All right, Barry said, plugging the spell frame into the output of the grow chip. Moment of truth. He plugged the chip into his computer, then ran the program. Grow.exe.
Kobarath, 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 Kobarath.
A tinny voice came over the speakers as the electric motor on the sieve began stirring the dust, mixing it up and allowing the dust to fall through the colander directly past the powerful 300-watt bulb, which shone like the sun. Literally. The dust collected in the pan beneath the bulb, where a tiny syringe grabbed a bit of the dust and, with a tiny little puff, blew a minuscule amount of the glowing golden mixture over a pot with a bit of clover in it. Perry's heart started pounding in his ears. The clump of clover started growing, filling the pot, the stems thickening as it gained no less than 3 inches of height in a handful of seconds. Yes! In the small hours before he absolutely had to go to bed for school, Perry felt like he just landed on the moon. Quest complete. Make the laws of physics and magic your bitch. 1000 XP. Class selection. Congratulations. You have reached level 1. Please choose a class. Come on. Mage, wizard, anything. Come on. Perry waited with bated breath as the class choices began to roll in. Tinker, Space Tinker, Industrial Tinker, Geo Tinker, Garage Tinker, Bio Tinker, Ray Tinker, Submersible Tinker. Perry's eyes widened in horror as the list of nothing but Tinker variants paraded past his vision in a blur of motion. Ah, come on, Dad!
So, yes, this is a lit RPG that's very much about tinkering, of course, like coming up with devices and sort of blending them with magic. I think you guys are going to like it if you're lit RPG fiends and if you like Macronomicon stuff. Macronomicon and Steve have, of course, been working together for a couple book series now, so I think this will be their third one they're working on together. Yeah, thanks, Gary. yeah,
That's
go have a listen. See if this is your thing, and if you like it, you can pre-order the entire book. So also, someone mentioned cold reads. The cold reads for Chrysalis 4 need to go up next week. Actually, I wonder if we can fit those in Tuesday. I guess it's not a big deal if we wait a week from
next week or not? Next week
I don't know.
or after Thanksgiving?
Because we already have Industrial
Thanksgiving
Strength
is next
Magic
week.
coming out on Tuesday and Tales from the Battered Mind.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe we can wait.
Do we have a DCC? No, that's
We
no.
could do it. Okay, it's either going to be
I don't have
the
a
next
calendar up.
Tuesday or on the Thursday coming up, which is Thanksgiving, but it's a free product. It's a cold read. I'm not too worried about it. We'll see. Watch out for the Chrysalis 4 cold read. They've already been done. You can look on our YouTube channel to find the cold reads. I think I made it through like 40% this time for the cold read. So I'm still working on that audiobook. When I got back from Vegas, I got a bit sick, but tomorrow I should be able to get back on the horse, get back in the saddle. We've already got, let's see,
Wizard's
all three of the
Tower
first cold
is
reads
coming up
up.
next week. Sorry.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So there's that. And do we have any other news? Anything else released recently?
No, we had ISM last week, which you've already talked about in DCC. That's what we had. Well, that's what we had this week. Last week, no, ISM and pre-sale for Wizard's Tower 3.
Okay.
So, but also Byron, it's not Bailey's. There's not a drop of Bailey's in it at all. It's all coffee.
Lies. She lies.
I like
It's
those,
not
like,
Bailey's.
Batman
No, you're right. It's not Bailey's. It's Everclear. That's what it is. All right. So, I guess the next thing that we should do, since we have Mr. Jay Beraz, how do you pronounce his last name? You want to come on out here from the green room?
All right.
What's up, Jay? How do we pronounce your last name?
Uh-oh.
We can't hear him. He's doing the chipmunk thing. Let's try again.
That was weird. Oh, no.
That's very
What is
interesting.
happening?
That's awesome. So what's
feel like a
happening,
dog.
Jay? You can't tell, but your voice is coming in super sped up because
Like
of
Alvin.
like some kind of
from Alvin and the
sample failure.
Chipmunks.
So basically, you might have to just log back into the. Let's try that. Hopefully that'll work.
All right,
He's
he'll be
doing
back.
it
He'll be right back.
On purpose at first. Someone's asking, what is a cold read? A Facebook user is asking.
So our cold reads, what that is you can listen to or watch me narrate something for the first time, and sometimes I hadn't pre-read the book itself, so you basically get to listen to me fumble around, figure out how to narrate the thing, and it's just kind of fun behind the scenes type of stuff. Jay, let's hear you again.
All right. So is it me? Am
There
I
we
still
go.
chipmunking?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
No.
Yay!
Better.
But yeah, you did pronounce my name correctly, Jeff. So
Beraz?
Beraz, yeah.
Okay, great.
Americanized Portuguese.
Gotcha. So it's not Behaz.
No,
Okay.
that
Beraz.
is definitely an R, not an H.
Right. Well, in Portuguese, R is H.
Mm.
Right. Jay, what do you have for us today? What have you requested? And this is gonna be, so this did win the poll. I think like what, by 100 something votes?
114
no.
votes. I think I had 45% of it. Yeah, I kind of stuffed the ballot box by posting it everywhere.
Okay.
Well,
You're
Good.
working
That's what we
hard.
want.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie. I like to promote this shit because it's honestly fun. You did my buddy Ryan's the other week, and now it's my turn. So
Awesome.
So check it out.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh,
This is
wow.
this is the poll with 114 votes. We had 45% of the vote. It was close. Some people really wanted this Few Good Men with Boxy.
honestly, if I had
Oh,
lost, that's the
gosh.
one I would want to win too because Boxy is my absolute favorite character in the genre. So
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
what I'm
actually,
doing is I'm digging up his doc now. Here's Jay's troll poll
Awesome.
submission.
and just to remind everybody, the troll poll, and it's only troll poll from now on. So don't request your shit unless you want me to annihilate it. The Troll Poll is now on the Soundbooth Theater Live YouTube channel. We do it through there instead of through Facebook from now on because it's just easier. The polling system on YouTube is easier to deal with. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you would like to nominate something or vote on the poll from now on, make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can do that and so that you can see when the polls go up. And if you really want us to narrate your stuff, do like Jay Beraz did here and carpet bomb social media with our poll and make sure that people see it and know that this is something that you want done. So Jay, we have Terra Rebirth, Dawn of Power. So is this a book that you already published?
No, I haven't published it. This is still my work in progress. I'm honestly about halfway through writing it still. This is what I sent you guys is an excerpt from one of the earlier chapters.
Okay.
Right after my main protagonist Alex defeated the dungeon boss, a beetle named Ringo. Because I'm going for jokes in a lot of it, so it's a little bit it's on the apocalypse side of the LitRPG genre, but I'm definitely going for a lighter action. So he's interacting with the dungeon core, which is the first sentient dungeon core in the world, which is actually the Geneva personal assistant AI. And yes, she's given me permission to use her, and Kristen, who's her assistant, is her DigiWisp in this scene.
Great. And do you have any other stuff that's already published?
I don't. I'm still working on this. This is my first one. I had another one way back in the day that I was working on that I realized that as I was getting it written, I had never seen before, but it was basically the entire plot line to Super Dimension Century Orcus. So I kind of dropped that one to the side. I've lost the papers now.
Okay. And is this one, are you doing this through Royal Road at all?
I haven't put it on Royal Road yet, but I'm probably going to once I get a few more chapters written, just because I want to make sure I can get it up there in a timely manner without not leave people hanging.
Sure. And if anybody wants to preemptively watch out for your stuff, if they like what we read here today, and they get interested and they want to find out when your stuff gets published, where should they go to watch out for you?
I'll be when I start putting on Royal Road or get it published, I'll be posting it into the different Facebook groups. I was primarily LitRPG Legion, and then just LitRPG are the two that I mainly hang out and lurk in. And my ultimate goal is to sign with Legion publishers. Mm-hmm. So because they're a bunch of good eggs. They're cracked just like you guys, but they're good eggs. So
right, yeah, no, that's why we get along so well. Because we're just a bunch of cracked good eggs. All right, so speaking of Legion and speaking of Geneva, I have to tell you that they got to me.
Yes,
they corrupted me.
I've been warned about this. They said that they told you to give this the business.
So I'm gonna give this the business like they requested, and I'm gonna do it the best of my ability. So, you have any directions for any of the characters that, I mean, some of the direction I'm going to ignore because of them
because of orders from higher up.
Yes, exactly.
No, man, just go ahead and knock it out of the park. I mean, you know what Geneva sounds like. So, Alex, as I'm writing him, he's basically, for lack of a better term, he's generic white boy. For lack of a better term, generic white boy. Kristen was a research AI that Geneva took with her when she stole the dungeon core. Geneva, of course, is the personal assistant AI that's been around for decades. So,
gotcha. All right. So here goes. This is one more time. Jay Beraz wrote. What is the name of it again?
Terra Rebirth, Dawn of Power.
Terra Rebirth, Dawn of Power, and this is LitRPG, I'm assuming.
LitRPG, yes.
All right. Here goes. Alex grunted slightly from the pain in his leg as he flipped over the beetle to find the head of his axe. He found it pitted and scarred from the beetle's acid. Okay, that's way more potent against steel than it should be, he mused to no one in particular. Pulling the head out, he set it aside for a moment as he flipped the corpse back over, hoping he was right about what he'd find inside. He knelt down, taking it easy on his right leg, and grabbed the damaged axe head. Using the spike on the back, he cracked open the bug's head and pulled the chitin apart. There, sitting in the middle of whatever passed for an insect brain, was a slightly glowing crystal core.
You have found Dungeon Boss Core, Grade Major.
Holy shit! I lost my place. Holy shit! A major core? That's better than the bear was. But what's it mean that it's a dungeon boss core and not a beast core? We'll have to figure it out, but I'm sure it is going to be worth a lot for the camp. Now, let's see if we can get anything else off this guy. Pulling out his knife again, he carefully sliced off the strong outer wing shell from the beetle, figuring, if nothing else, it might make a good sled come winter. He got another series of prompts from the SI for his efforts.
You have discovered Beetle Carapace ×2. Your skill in skinning has increased to level 2.
Not wanting to get any more beetle goo on himself, Alex stood up with a small groan, his injured leg still aching, but not hampering him any longer. I'll have to give Cameron some more thanks. Those healing potions really do the trick. Maybe he can make them taste like blackberry for me, Alex said to himself, starting to look around. Now, this being a dungeon, it's supposed to have a treasure chest or loot for me since I beat the boss. Let's see if we can find it. Oops! Came the voice out of his pocket. What oops, voice?
Never mind, fuckboy, just leave. You'll get loot next time.
What? Where is it this time? Alex looked around and saw a flash of light coming from a small shelf on the back of the cavern wall. Ah, there it is. He took a step or two in that direction.
Approaching dungeon core is hazardous to one's health, dumbass.
Alex stopped and looked around, wondering about the voice. Okay, so who are you, and why is getting near the core hazardous? He asked cautiously, taking a single step back from the core.
As to who I am, it should be obvious if you aren't a moron, and for your second stupid question, because if you get any closer, I'll have Kristen unleash Fluffy on your scrawny ass. He doesn't play nice like poor Ringo. Now get out! But feel free to come back another time if you want to get your ass kicked and balls squashed.
Who is Kristen? And what the fuck is Fluffy? He asked, confused. And for that matter, who the hell are you?
Fuck around and find out, kid!
The voice spoke again.
Now, to borrow from the English, sod off, you bloody wanker. I've got to rebuild this place.
With that, Alex seemed to get the clue and backed his way out of the chamber before turning and heading back out of the tunnel and cave entirely.
You have left Ringo's lair.
Geneva, you know that...
Sorry, that's
Geneva,
yeah.
you know that Fluffy is still in the design stage. We haven't made him yet.
Her loyal Digiwasp Kristen spoke as she flew in from a hidden tunnel she claimed as her room. Okay, it's still Geneva.
Yeah, but I didn't want to have to start all over with another random teleport. That first one made my circuits ache. Fortunately, the bluff worked and the guy left.
Sounds just like
Indeed, Geneva. But now we have to remake Ringo so we have a gourd again.
Kristen sighed tiredly as her color drooped a few shades to be a deeper blue.
That's okay. He'll be fine once we respawn him. But we're going to need a lot more than just Ringo to deal with invaders looking to make an easy score. We need to expand, and we need more monsters,
Geneva said gleefully. Is this still Kristen?
Right.
Right! Expansion is right here in the system. Looks like it's a core-only function. I can't do it. Only you. While you do that, shall I go outside and look for more local fauna to scan and sample?
Yes, do that. But don't scan any fawns. We need something better than baby deer,
The Dungeon Core said in a deadpan voice.
That's not what fauna means, Geneva.
Kristen said confusedly.
Yes, but I had you going.
Geneva laughed back.
Now go find something we can use, please.
Yes, Geneva.
Kristen responded and flew out of the cave. And now is this Alex?
No, this is
still
all Geneva and Kristen talking back and forth.
All right. Now to get to work on expanding this place. After I bring back poor little Ringo.
With that, the AI/Dungeon Core triggered the creation protocol to bring back her current dungeon boss, and then started pumping her dungeon mana into the expansion protocol.
That should get us started. Now I wait for Kristen to bring me back something I can use to make more dungeon creatures to keep unwanted fuckboys out of my core room.
The blue Digiwasp flew back in only a few minutes later.
Geneva, I have several creatures I think we can use.
Oh? Let's see what you scanned out there. Throw it up into the screens.
Kristen flexed her power and put the scan info up for them both to go over.
Creatures scanned. Stellar's Jay. Gray Wolf. California Ground Squirrel. A gray wolf? I didn't realize they had moved this far south from Lassen. Well, we can definitely use it.
Are you sure? I thought wolves would be pretty vicious, Geneva.
Kristen said with a worried tone.
Only to the idiots who decide to come in here. Plus, we are going to use them for cavalry.
What? Wolf cavalry? We don't have anything to ride them.
Yes, we do. You scanned them yourself. The squirrels. We can easily enlarge them and have them ride the wolves into battle. It will be glorious. Can't you just see them on little wolf saddles with acorn helmets and little lances? It will be cute and deadly. Those guys won't know what hit them.
Geneva excitedly explained to her wisp.
If you say so, Kristen replied. But I think we will need archers more than cavalry.
Kristen replied.
Even better. That's a great idea. You're a genius, Kristen.
Thank you, Geneva. But what idea?
Squirrel bombardiers. We'll modify the acorns to explode like grenades, and the squirrels can be up in trees or on ledges and hurl them at those who trespass. Brings a whole new meaning to nut to the face.
The Dungeon Core was talking in an almost manic voice.
We can use those birds, too, as scouts and thieves. They aren't nicknamed camp robbers for nothing, after all. This is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Oh, crap. She's getting some crazy ideas now,
the Digiwasp muttered, then spoke louder.
I'll start on designing the squirrel. Bombardiers, if you would like.
The Digiwasp seemed to instinctively know when to give up the argument and go along with her boss.
Yup, go ahead. I've got designing to do,
Geneva mumbled as she started opening up the dungeon creation screens again to design the perfect wolf-riding squirrels.
Geneva, what are we going to do about that man?
Kristen inquired as they worked.
He did leave the core alone, after all.
Yeah, I know. And I did say he would get loot next time. I guess we'll have to come up with something for that as we work.
Are you going to be nicer to him next time?
Oh, hell no. I'm gonna keep fucking with him.
But why?
Because I find it hilarious. And we can't make things too easy for him and others that come in here. Which reminds me, we have to reset those traps at the entrance. Those were a riot.
With that, the Core and her Digiwasp got back to the business of growing and populating their home for future incursions. And if Geneva had her way, some fun too.
Yeah. Mwah. Perfection, man. That was fucking epic.
You're welcome.
Thank
you for requesting.
I like how you changed Geneva's voice from originally it was kind of a snack fizzy combo to you. Then it made it the
Does it
system.
sound more like
the system itself.
Geneva?
Wait. So the snack fizzy combo. Okay, I thought it was some other voice from the pocket. So
oh yeah, no,
actually,
sorry,
Geneva...
I should have made that clear. Yeah, no.
Okay.
She Geneva has still uses her the personal assistant app on people's phones to talk to these guys. So
gotcha.
But that's okay. Changing it was fucking beautiful.
Yes, that was super fun. Thank you, Jay, for requesting that. So you guys, one more time, the title, Terra
Rebirth, Dawn of Power.
Dawn of Power. That's coming maybe soon. What do you think? How many words are you into it?
I've got about 40,000 in right now, planning for about 100, 120. Hopefully I'll have the draft written and going up to the editors before Christmas. But
all right,
that's been kicking me in the ass a lot lately, so I haven't had time to write. So, but hey, Geneva actually came in and watched at least part of that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much what Geneva did was she was like, okay, Jeff, I'm going to give you a training course on exactly how I sound. So she just, basically we spent a good hour working it out, made sure that I got all of her little eccentricities and all the little details of her voice exactly right. So if anyone ever meets Geneva in person, expect that voice.
Oh, Geneva sounds like a doofer. I don't think I've never heard her voice before.
Oh, man, how dare you, sir?
Oh, man. Excuse me.
No, I think the best story I heard from 20K though wasn't this discussion though. It was actually her crying on Matt Dinneman's shoulder, or was it Dinneman crying on hers?
It was probably the other way around. Yeah, it was probably
one way. Yeah, I think it was Matt crying on hers.
Yeah. Well, what Matt was upset about is he loved Aaron's music so much, and then he discovered that we didn't have an illustration of Aaron like we have for the rest of the crew, and he thought it was a tragedy that we hadn't brought him into the fold properly. So Matt has demanded that we make sure that we get a LitRPG avatar for Aaron as soon as possible, for both him and Jacob our tech managers. So we're going to need to be on that. Matt will not talk to me until that happens.
What about Matt? Isn't Matt? We should make him a cat. He should just be a cat.
Oh yeah.
Make him like a little mangy cat with his face.
Yeah. We should. How about like the lion from Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, do it. But make him real small. Just like 3 foot tall.
House cat size Wizard of Oz lion. That works.
Sized head.
Yeah, absolutely. Princess Matt, someone said.
Yeah,
exactly.
Princess Matt, exactly.
We'll get it done. Okay. So, Jay, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us and talking about your project.
Yes.
Thank you for driving everybody to a poll and for gaming the system. That's exactly what we want from people. Just cheat every way you possibly can to get your request, to get your request voted on.
See, if I can do it, so can you guys. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks, Jay. And it's time, I think, for us to get into. So we have been doing these things every,
I thought Ahmed was going to do
every
his thing.
SBTL.
I'm just waiting for it to drop.
See, it's not gonna work if I'm like anticipating it and
I
I'm
know,
trying
I'm
to set him
waiting
up. It's just not gonna
He's
work.
just going to drop it on us when we least expect.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually gonna happen this time. But
Okay.
maybe we can at least see the theme maybe one more time. I don't know if we
This
can even
stupid
get started with this
movie.
segment without.
It feels incomplete.
I think I like this movie, man.
You did?
I grew up.
Oh my
I love
gosh!
this movie.
And you're so hard to please, and you guys.
I have
like
not
this
seen this movie, and
I can't.
This,
I've not seen
no,
this
no,
movie
I
till
have a
last week.
lot. I have a good amount to say about like the fact that I grew up.
I think I watched it only once before, back in the 80s.
Yeah. I really love this movie. It was so much fun. It was so stupid.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't fun for me. I could not wait for it to be over. I actually thought about just walking out of watching it at my home.
You wanted your money back from home.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is a John Hughes film. John Hughes did 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club,
I
and
like
what
The
else did he
Breakfast
do?
Club. I don't know. I didn't look up his filmography, but I know he's done some things that we recognize. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I haven't seen that one either. Uncle Buck, I haven't
You
seen.
haven't seen Planes, Trains? That's like a Thanksgiving holiday classic.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, did he did the original Vacation? I know he did the new one. I guess he did the original one too, probably, right?
Oh wow, I don't know. I did not know he was associated with Beethoven in any way.
Yeah, screenplay.
What else do? Yeah, 16 Candles.
Mr. Mom.
16 Candles and The Breakfast Club are the two that I associate. Oh, Pretty in Pink. Yeah. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's maybe
Ferris
his
Bueller's, yeah.
Some kind
his
of
most
wonderful
well-regarded one.
She's having a baby was okay.
She's Having a Baby. I actually really like that movie.
Oh, he
Home
wrote Home
Alone,
Alone. I didn't
Jesus
realize that.
Christ. Never mind. Jeez.
Yeah. So John Hughes, big cultural icon. He is kind of the definition of growing up in the 80s as far as movies. And Weird Science, I don't know, feels like it's even kind of a love letter to the whole thing. Like, it's so broad and it's so it requires, like, there are no rules in this movie.
No.
Except let's do whatever is the most fun
And retarded.
possible.
Yes.
And stupid.
Yeah.
And I think what it speaks to more than anything is the mentality of being a teenage boy and wishing that you could have more, wishing that you weren't looked at as some freak. You know, almost all teenage boys feel like freaks unless they're one of the popular kids, you know, and there's a lot of daydreaming. There's a lot of fantasizing that teenage boys do. And not only does it speak to that fantasy, but it also speaks to, well, what would they even do if their fantasy came true? They wouldn't know what to do with it, right? They would have... They'd be clueless no matter what, if they had the thing that they wanted or if they don't have the thing that they wanted, because teenage boys are idiots at the end of the day. And so I think this is a really, as stupid as it is, it's a really kind of in-depth look at, you know, the situation that teenage boys have. It's like, not only are you not allowed to have the things that you want, but even if you did, you would mess it up anyway. So you just have to go through this stage in your life, and you have to be clueless, and you have to go through the pain of growing up. You got no choice in the matter. So yeah, I'm anyone else can take it up, I'm happy to bounce this
Why
around.
don't you go, Sin?
Well,
Yeah,
I must say,
Sin.
I had more fun listening to Jeff explain this movie than I had watching the entire movie. And I like the song. I actually do like the theme song, the Weird Science song. I remember
Boingo
when
boingo. Danny
when-
Elfman.
Is that who that was? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it. I remember watching it, and I didn't remember much at all about it. I had completely forgotten that Bill Paxton
This is my
was
favorite
in
scene
it,
right here.
that Robert Downey Jr. was in it. That scene was funny where Anthony Michael Hall was drunk. He's talking like this. But it was just it was too goofy for me to enjoy. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I had totally forgotten how absolutely ridiculous it was. And they tried to insert this serious messaging in there about exactly the things that you were talking about, Jeff, but it didn't work because it was too stupid. I just couldn't. And the acting was terrible. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so cringe. I was rolling my eyes. And I like Anthony Michael Hall, but he came to our con a few years ago. And he was talking about when they worked on this, because I went to his panel, and it was a really interesting panel. He was talking about how besotted they were with, what's her face? Oh, gosh, the chick. I forgot her name. She used to be married to Steven Seagal. Yeah, Kelly LeBrock, yeah.
Is that the
Yeah, that's
the
Lisa.
chick, yeah.
Okay.
Lisa, yeah. And
The genie.
I was also thinking
good
that
part right here?
a movie like this could, of course you think it's a good part. I was thinking, a movie
Also
like this, I
special
don't think it
effects to
could be made today. Because it was, oh my gosh, the stuff. There were no rules. It was just completely over the top, horrible. I legit was so ready for it to be done. And I did notice a Ben Shapiro lookalike in the background at one point. Did you guys notice
really?
that? Yeah,
No.
I even took screenshots of it. It's like, this looks like Ben Shapiro. Oh, this scene was like,
man,
oh my
the
god.
Mad Max guys,
But
the
wait,
fucking Road Warrior guys.
So
yes.
I did laugh when the one freaky dude said something like it's just between us, right? I don't want to lose my teaching job.
Oh yeah, right at the end. This guy.
Yeah.
Yes, him. Oh gosh, I just hated it. I hated it. It's probably one of the worst we've ever seen. One of the worst. I mean, I actually think I like the stuff more than this, y'all, and the stuff was bad.
Okay.
So I have a tale of two movies.
Okay.
With this one, you guys know the term fan service, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fan service is when anime just like shows you something that that they maybe shouldn't, or this whole movie is like fan service for like a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly.
And like literally everything. And I used to love this movie. Until I just watched it. Because as a kid, it's literally just complete wish fulfillment from top to bottom.
Right, I can imagine
They get
as a young
bullied,
boy. Yeah.
they get over.
Yeah.
You
they
know,
get the girls.
They get the girl. The girls pay attention to them. The hottest girls do. Not only that, but the hottest girl shows off to the other girls. It's all just layers and layers and layers of wish fulfillment. Of absurd lines and delivery. The movie clearly is like, I think they improv'd a lot for sure, especially Bill Paxton. And
Oh my god.
He was terrible in here. My God.
Well, no. I
loved him so
Maybe he
much.
was supposed to be.
He was great.
Oh,
But that's the thing is like, yeah, the movie's awful. When I watched it this time, I was cringing like
yes.
3/4 of the way through it.
Yeah, I was cringing almost the whole
Except for
time.
the only thing that didn't really make me cringe was probably, and not excluding the kiss when she kisses the kids.
That was icky.
I don't know why.
That was
'cause
icky.
When I was a kid, right? Like,
Yeah, but as an adult, you realize that's inappropriate and
older,
gross.
I don't know.
right?
I don't know.
No,
But
no, it's
it felt
inappropriate.
gross watching it. I was grossed
if the
out.
genders had been reversed, you would have realized.
Yeah, it
much
would have been
more how
way worse. It would have
inappropriate
been way worse.
Well, it's still bad.
But it was gross. But save for that, I really loved her absurd improvised performances.
Yes.
Like she was having
was
a
brilliant.
good time.
Yes.
And she was going in. She was doing it. Like, especially when she tells off Chet, and she's like, when she gets in like the guts of Robert Downey Jr. or like, tells them off. But really, I think that was my favorite part, was her character. But because, and this is like a goofy reason, because of the things they put into her, that to me was, they made her into this like Frankenstein motorcycle chick. Like, she was raunchy, she was absurd, but at the same time,
brilliant.
She had all the things they put into her. So I thought that, for me, that little line of plot was interesting to me, because whenever she made a decision or did something, for my brain, referred back to the making of when they made her. That was the only good thing that happened this time, this viewing, besides the nostalgia and then the obvious, like, how this movie must have Stockholmed me a little bit, because I watched it so much that, like, you know, like, every time we go back and watch these movies, I'm like, I rewatch the scene and I'm like, what was so, like, good? Like, what was it that was so attractive to me about this? I have to say, special effects wise, the stuff flying out of the house was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
The room that turns blue, really cool. Shades of blue. Everything is shades of blue. Like, that was very, like, there were things in it that were a lot of fun. The missile going through the room.
Yeah.
Like, that was just.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and the Anthony Michael Hall scene, it's just, that one is genuinely funny.
Which
no,
one?
The one in the bar. That
that
made me laugh out loud.
That
like,
one was he was funny.
Like, it wasn't like an inside chuckle or like, I remember this scene. That was like, oh, I don't remember this being this funny, because when I was younger, it was the flip, right? When I was younger, I didn't get those jokes as much as I do
voice
now.
Totally changed.
But also what he's talking about his girl, and it's all very funny. And his just letting him kind of go off, I think that was like John Hughes' thing. Like, he let him go off in this movie, and that was clear.
Actually, I found that he was able to stretch more and do more than I've seen him in any of the other movies.
Yeah, exactly. Because in the other movies he was playing it straight, and this one he was basically doing his impression of like George Burns or something. I don't know. But overall, I definitely did like this a lot less in retrospect. I watched a good copy too, like, it was very clean, you know, like very like.
Yeah,
like
I watched it through
version.
Amazon. I watched it through Amazon, the HD version.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good copy. Like, I was surprised.
It's really good. And
this we didn't talk about this thing. Like, there was a lot of visual stuff, like the room flipping around. You know, with the girl in it, even though it was a little raunchy because she was like, it was her underwear. Even this bit of her getting, like, how did they do this, right? Like, there was a lot of special effects stuff that was like, what? Like, clearly,
I bet it was a set
off of her. But
I bet she's just hanging.
She's just hanging something, but it was definitely like, there was a lot of clever cinematography that only the 80s could provide, I guess, right? Like, you would never do it that way again. And then this whole thing, adding in the Mad Max thing, is like, once again, wish fulfillment, right? This was like throwing in this genre. I feel like he even played this character in another movie or something, right?
Oh, that's Vernon
No,
Wells.
this is the guy from Road Warrior.
From Road Warrior,
like,
yes, it's exactly
down to the
him.
makeup.
It's
Down to the
exactly
makeup.
him. Okay, so they
Wait,
did
is it the same actor?
It is
or
him.
some-
Yes.
So
yes.
Vernon
It's the
Wells
same guy.
was in Road
It says it.
Warrior?
Yeah, Vernon Wells.
Yeah, he's the guy who gets his fingers chopped off by the
Okay,
boomerang.
I never saw Road Warrior, but I know he was
There it
in
is.
Commando.
And Commando.
He was in Commando with Arnold.
Yeah.
And in fact, a movie director that I interviewed on my channel did a short film with him and is planning to do a feature-length film with him. Yeah, called Fear of the Woods. My wish fulfillment was that it would be that easy to clean a house. That's my wish.
That was nice. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Dude,
Hang on,
I just love how
I got
they
something for this. There it
They
is.
literally throw everything out the window as far as consequences. Like, and it's not that the house is fine, right? The house is not fine. The house is fucked, right?
Oh,
it's
because
just,
her magic
everyone's just like,
wears. Well, no, her magic wears off in the end, so she cleans.
Oh,
it
that's
up.
right. That's right. It does come back.
No,
so
well, they don't.
she
They don't.
undoes
they
everything,
kinda-
and
Yeah,
right,
she
they-
undoes everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying so she probably
Right,
if
yeah,
she
I
chose
forgot about
to,
that.
She left the house.
She fixed it, and you think in the end she's disappeared, but then she shows back up somewhere else with a bunch of teenage boys
she's
in
a
a
genie.
gym.
She's a genie. Yeah, she's
Right. That's what I was about to say. Is that you take out the weird science element, and what we have is a genie it's a genie. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
basically
literally
granting
wish fulfillment.
But she's
Wishes,
also like
yeah.
a hot older sister that's like kind of bringing you into puberty or something, right? Like it's a girl that every guy wishes they had in a sense, like somebody to
right.
practice on or learn from, or it's
Right.
it's goofy. It's
Um,
all the
yeah,
kids
so
were great. All the
Just,
kids.
just the way that everything is so carefree, like everything. Again, they just want to have a good time with this movie, and they just want to make it as extreme and silly and fun as possible. And
I had completely forgotten he was in here.
all I
his-
could think
his
about was
gap.
Stranger Things.
His gap. Yeah, this is like exactly.
All I could think about was what's his name, the new guy that everyone absolutely loved in that show that looked just like Robert Downey Jr. as a kid.
Which
What is his
guy?
name?
Who?
The dude who did the Master of Puppets on top of the trailer.
Oh, the rock guy who was in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
latest one. Oh yeah, I like him.
He looks
I did like him. He
literally
did kinda look
exactly like
he did,
Robert Downey
yes, he
Jr..
did actually look a bit like him. That's true. Yep, I had forgotten.
Ahmed, I bet you can find a comparison photo
Oh, I'm
of
sure.
those two.
I'm sure there is.
But even the bullies had fun. Even the bullies had fun. They weren't so bad, and they kind of became a.
They weren't super mean spirited. Yeah.
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 They were just horny, stupid kids like everybody else. And I don't know. There's just something to me about letting go that made this film very charming to me. There was just no concern for what's realistic, what logically follows. It really is just like pure teenage testosterone. Yeah, look at this.
Yep.
Look at that. It's fucking
Yeah.
uncanny.
Yeah, he does look quite a bit like him.
So, it even says uncanny in the headline.
Yeah. No, it was totally. If you didn't notice, it was totally making your point.
Yeah, so
It's like I
I mean,
wrote it.
I'm gonna just go ahead and throw out my number rating. I'm gonna give this one an 8,
Oh Lord
and
have
and
mercy.
highly recommend.
Oh my gosh, I'll give it
The
like
other
a
thing that
2.
girl-
And don't watch it if you don't like stupid comedy, dumb comedy. I hate dumb comedy. That's why I don't like Dumb and Dumber. And this was dumb.
Oh my
comedy.
god, I love Dumb and Dumber
I
so
hate
much.
that movie so
Dumb and
much.
Dumber's
The
a
other side
s-
of Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
It's like a
can't
9.5.
stand it. Oh my gosh, it's like a 2 as well, or a 0. I cannot.
Want to hear the
stand
most
dumb
annoying
comedy.
sound in the world?
I've watched that movie in captivity. It's like I have been held captive to that dumb movie because my husband loves it so much, and he used to watch it almost every night.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Samsonite.
So
I was way off.
Oh my gosh. I hate that movie. I hate it.
Oh shit.
Lord.
Also, yeah, the girls, the templates, right? The
Yeah, they
blonde
were
girl,
dumb
and
too.
then the brunette
chick,
girl,
this girl, I saw
and the
her.
blonde girl has like long features, and the brunette girl has round. It's like it's all like everything, all the way down is like fan service to something.
This chick, I recognized
They look
her
like comic
because
books.
I'd seen her in American Ninja. I was like, is that girl from American Ninja? Yeah, that's her.
Her?
That's her. Yeah.
American Ninja. I don't think I've seen that.
That was a movie I used to really love back
the
in the
movie
80s.
American Ninja.
The movie, the first one. She
Oh
was
my
the
God.
chick that went on
Man,
the.
when
you
I was
know-
a kid, I wanted to be a ninja so bad.
I used to
started
love.
club with
He
my
did this
friends,
cool
and we
thing
made
with
our
his
weapons.
fingers. You remember how he did this really cool thing with his fingers?
Yeah,
Anyway,
there was-
I
yeah.
used to think that movie was so great, and then when I see it now, it's like, oh, so bad. But yeah, I recognize her. Robert Downey was terrible, and everybody was
so
terrible.
goofy.
The
was
goofiness was just and the cartoony sort of facial reactions that,
Yeah, that's
that
what I
Anthony
mean,
Michael
that's what I
Hall would
mean.
have too, and the other guy like with the
Yeah,
eyes.
no, it
and
was the style. It was the style. There was nothing more 80s than.
Music was also amazing.
It was
I
the
think,
music
through
was
the whole-
definitely the big hair. Oh,
Oh my god, her teased fucking ridiculous
huge
hair metal
hair.
hair.
Yeah,
Love it.
She's smoking in this. Jeez,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, to me, that big hair is not like a turn on, but it looks dope. You know,
Well,
like
it matches her
It's
character.
more of
Really
like, hey,
matched the
respect.
The
time,
hair's
yeah.
awful, but like she's gorgeous, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
The hair's just it's the style of the day, right?
Oh, I remember floppy discs. Oh
Yeah,
my
that was
gosh.
5.5 or 5 1/4.
That was
Yeah.
yeah.
I
5
love this.
1/4
They
and
call-
3 1/2 were the hard ones.
They call what was it? They call NORAD or
Is
something.
it some sort
That
of
was
What was
amazing.
that?
That
Oh
was
my goodness.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
so
I love.
stupid.
I even love
They're
this
just throwing
process, this
paper
scientific process, where
Look at this. Yeah,
just
just
throwing all sorts of
nonsense.
bullshit. Just
and then this.
And then that part did actually make me laugh.
The part at the end when they do it
The frost on
again
the
to
head.
show off to Robert Downey.
And they
his
forgot
buddy.
to hook up the doll. That
Right,
was so
but she
dumb. Like,
walks-
how could you forget to hook up the doll?
No, but the funny thing about
Stupid,
that
so
part.
stupid.
Well, yeah, that was.
Everything
but
was stupid.
the funny thing about that part wasn't the doll. The funny thing was you thought she was gonna walk in, and this is what I mean, consistent with the character they created, right? You thought
Yeah.
she was gonna walk in and tell them off about how wrong they were and how bad it is to try to. But she didn't come in with that at all. She was like, "In your glory, you forgot the doll."
Yeah,
like
you
she
thought
didn't-
you were
she was
so
on board.
smart.
She was on board with it. She wasn't like she didn't have a problem with them making another one of her. She didn't care.
Oh
She
my
didn't. She was
gosh.
indifferent to that. And that was to me was just like very funny. It's numbskull moments. This whole movie's numbskull.
yes.
But yeah, all the upside down stuff, very funny, very like authentic. Man, this is just this whole the door exploding like Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Popping, that was like authentic stuff from like and then Bill Paxton just being a maniac. The shoes, the simple
gosh.
things like this, right? Do you remember these scenes are like to me are the most memorable. Like he gets up and he's backwards. You think his feet are in the covers. It's like every stupid gag ever. You know, like and
Oh, and him wearing that was just like, oh my gosh.
even down to this,
This
like
is
you
so
have a
bad.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's like a commercial. It's like a commercial. It's like what? Like would any cashier ever ask that? Like who cares?
Hold on, Kelly LeBrock, is that the Lisa?
Yes.
Yes.
So Corey Phillips says she was married to Steven Seagal.
Seagal.
I
yeah. Oh,
mentioned
she said
that.
that earlier.
I
But
mentioned that earlier.
It didn't click for him. It didn't click for him.
Yeah, I didn't.
So,
I,
Oh,
now-
it just went right over
Now
his
think about it.
right over his head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
What?
married for a bit.
married to one of the biggest losers.
Yeah. Well, you know, well, not at the time, I guess, right?
Not at the
He
time.
was she played in a movie with him too.
Yeah, yeah. That was probably how they like, you know, met.
Probably. Yeah.
I love how they just type. They type
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
boobs get bigger.
No, but
Smaller.
also I love how they had restraint and then the Robert
The
Downey,
others
the other
were
guy
like,
was
no.
just like, just make it. We don't care.
And I can't remember the term that Anthony Michael Hall used for that. Something about knees or something.
Yeah,
It's like-
you know. Oh, this is just
when he was
awful.
licking her jacket.
Just awful.
I was cringing so much.
So awful. And she has to play it straight while he's doing all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. I
Okay,
know.
so 8 from me, 2 from Sin.
I don't
Ahmed,
know.
what's
I'm
your
gonna-
rating?
6. I gotta give it a 6.
6.
I
Okay.
would give it a not recommend unless you like really idiotic comedies. And there are some people who do. I am not one of them. This was a miserable viewing experience for me.
This requires that
totally
you are
miserable.
13 when you watch it.
I
Like this, if you're not
I was
13 when
definitely a
you watch it,
teenager
you're a
when
boy.
I saw it.
Oh, when
I
you're a boy,
probably liked
also.
it. Well, yeah, that too. I don't remember hating it as much as I did this time. So obviously, I was easier to please back in the 80s when I was a kid. Not now. No, this one didn't work for me. Just-
Okay, and Ahmed, was that a recommend or no?
Yeah, that's a, yeah.
All right, Ahmed's 6 recommend. I'm 8 recommend.
I am 2.
Sin
I
is
don't.
2. So what's the
with the
average?
Oh, the
caveat.
shower.
With the caveat that you, unless like if you like stupid comedy.
It
then
seems like our
obviously.
average is like 5.3 or something. 5.3 recommend.
Oh, when they go, oh my God, when they go in the shower. There's a lot of like things in this. When they go
Right,
in the
when they're in the shower with her and
the
they
girls,
have their pants
the two
on.
girls. No, not with her. Yes, that was awful.
Oh, right. Yes, that
Later,
was one of
during
my
the
favorite
party.
parts.
during the party, they go into the shower to give the girls privacy because they don't know enough to leave. But then they start talking to each other really fast, and then you just see these like, and they're just going back and forth, and you have to like really listen. That's like some John Hughes stuff. I don't know where that idea comes from, but it's hilarious. You know,
Yeah.
it's like just really that moment isolated. You know, just the way the camera's shot. You know, like was just really funny. So, you know, there's a lot of things like that in it, you know, but at the same time, it's also kind of overall just kind of cringy and just like, ugh, what's happening?
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep. Love it.
Oh, that was Hard to Kill. Was the
Love
name of the
it.
movie.
Okay. That's
All
the
right,
one.
guys.
Good deal.
Well, that
Ugh.
is our
Alright.
cinema
I'm
segment for today. What's next?
That's what I was going to ask you guys.
Well, this was for industrial strength magic. So
Right. So
Right.
so the next so on the 29th, which is our next one, will be in between another DCC episode and another ISM episode. So that's all
Okay.
and the week before that is a Tales short. That's
So-
really all we've got going.
Episode 4 of Dungeon Crawler Carl is the Pork Chop Express. It's about the ball of swine. And it's about old folks. So
What
we can
about
go with
Cocoon?
pigs.
I was thinking Cocoon as soon as I was thinking that too.
I have not seen that movie.
I've seen it a long
so-
time ago once.
Or it can be about pigs, right? Or
Babe.
do we have like Wizard's Tower 3? When is that?
That comes
releasing?
out next Tuesday, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
So we could
Okay.
do that one, no?
We could do
What's-
Wizard's Tower.
So I don't
3.
know what's the premise of that. I'm not sure. Like, I haven't
It's
worked on it.
it's a basically a lit RPG base builder with Wizard's Tower.
Okay.
So we could even do a tower, like some kind of tower climbing fantasy with it.
Well, here's the synopsis of 2.
What? I wouldn't know what movie that would compare to.
Have you guys seen Sword and the Sorcerer?
Is that?
I
Are you
think
talking
that's
about
from
the
the 80s.
animated? It is.
No.
Animated or?
Oh, wait,
real
wait, wait,
life?
wait. No, I'm sorry. Wrong. That's not it.
Sorcerer's
Shit.
I know what you mean. This is like it's a wizard movie, right? This is like a
Yeah,
proper
yeah,
wizard
yeah.
movie. So we need
Black
to
Cauldron?
think of proper wizard movies. Yeah.
Is Black Cauldron a wizard movie?
But like
Um,
the thing that's tricky about wizards movies is there's a lot of goofy ones that are, you know, this is a cartoon actually. But yes,
Which one are you looking at?
the Black Cauldron. Oh,
Conan,
Yeah, the Black Cauldron.
Conan the
I thought I had
Destroyer
that.
might be a good one.
Conan had wizards in it. Yes, it did.
Conan the
and,
Destroyer had
Destroyer.
the mirror wizard, right?
Yeah,
And,
and it also had the other wizard guy.
who was the other
yeah.
wizard?
And if I'm not,
Oh,
if
the
I'm
guy-
not mistaken,
was he a wizard though, or was he
Yeah.
did he just
No,
use
he-
the horn to call the god?
yeah, he was the gorilla wizard guy, and I think there was a tower.
There was
was a
this
tower.
crystal like tower a thing that they went into I've seen this movie 500,000 times probably. This was one of the movies that I recorded that I was telling you about that I would
Oh.
record on an audio tape, Jeff, and listen to while I was at work. So I'm quite familiar with this film. In fact, it was playing in Vegas and I watched it.
So do you know so you must be like really familiar with the soundtrack too as well. I'm very familiar with that one.
Yes, I've heard it quite a bit. So Conan the Destroyer, this was the movie that Arnold was contractually obligated / forced to film before he could film the Terminator because he couldn't get out of it. So he had to film this before the Terminator. Then he went and did Terminator after that. I used to love this movie more than the first one for a long time in the 80s. It was more action-packed.
Yeah. No, this has
and-
more colorful characters.
Yeah,
It has
I
like
used
the
to love
traditional
it
archetypes.
so
I want
much.
to ride with you. It has
definitely
Grace Jones.
It's definitely the worst movie now. You know, in retrospect, I can tell, but it was still a lot of fun.
No, I remember
to
this one.
watch.
This one was
I-
always on TV too, like more.
Yeah,
than
I
the
haven't
other
seen
one.
this one in forever. So
I mean,
Dun,
I
dun,
don't
dun,
know.
I'd be into
dun,
it.
dun.
But there's another sorcerer. There's
No,
another
we could
sorcery
do-
movie that
we
came
could
came
do-
out kind of around the same time.
I was doing a quick search for, so a wizarding movie from the 80s.
1977 Wizards. The
That was a
back sheet
cartoon,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
I would watch this.
There was Dragon Slayer, Excalibur.
Excalibur. That's it.
Is that the
Excalibur.
one?
Yeah,
That's the
that
one I
was
was
the one
thinking
with
of.
Merlin. Yeah, that was a lot of.
Yeah,
Merlin.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
Merlin earlier,
This
but
is Helen Mirren as well. She's like the Lady of the Lake or whatever or something.
So this movie, if I've seen it, I
was
have
a lot
completely
of
wiped it
lens
from my
flare.
memory. I don't remember.
There's Helen Mirren.
Wow.
It's a
I
lot
saw
of-
this
lot of
when I
lens
was a
flare.
kid so long ago.
Is this more wizard heavy than Conan?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
But also
I don't remember. I honestly, I may not have ever seen it. Just bits and pieces of it.
Okay. The only reason I'm hesitant to do Conan the Destroyer is just because, as Sin said, she's seen it 7 bajillion times.
I have seen it a lot.
And I think I've seen it maybe twice when I was a kid. So like,
Yeah,
I'm
I've seen it
super
a lot,
excited
too.
about that.
And like Ahmed said, this is more, or whoever said, this is more, Ahmed, this is more wizard heavy. And the whole point
It
would
is
be
more
wizards.
wizard heavy.
So
Well, we
this
could still
would
do.
make-
We could probably do even better with wizard. Hang on, Dragon Slayer might be a better wizard one.
Haven't we talked about this one before?
A young wizarding apprentice is sent to kill a dragon.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't know if there's a tower though.
Is there a
I
tower in
won't say.
Excalibur,
I won't
though?
say Harry Potter though. I will not.
No.
Yeah,
I
no, that's
really
kinda
don't want to watch
wizard.
Harry
That's-
Potter.
that's not
I
the-
love
that
Harry
kind of
Potter,
wizard.
but that's a bit too. I
don't.
don't know. I've seen that quite a bit, and I feel like everybody's seen that. Almost everybody.
Lady Hawk
Most
was
people.
the one. Was the one.
I
with,
remember Lady Hawk. Rutger Hauer was in that, right? And
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick was Matthew Broderick.
And,
Yeah, boy, it's
what's
been
her
forever.
face? And
Michelle
basically,
Pfeiffer.
he's a wolf during the day, and she's a bird. Or no, he's a wolf during the night, and she's a bird during the day, and so they can't ever get together. It's
Right.
Like,
It's
but
been
it's
forever
like a love
since I've
story.
The
but
Last
it's a magic
Unicorn.
spell.
The Last Unicorn.
Oh, we
Yeah,
talked about
that
this
one
one
has some
before. I
magic.
thought
Beast,
that's
the
a
Beastmaster.
I saw Beastmaster a long time ago. It's
Yeah,
been a
Beastmaster
while.
was Frodo and Kodo and Podo.
I have
Beastmaster
not
was
seen
like
this one.
was the other Conan, I guess, in a way. For
That
me.
was Mark Singer was in it. He was kind of biggish in the 80s. He played in the TV movie V.
Yeah, it was like a TV-ish.
There was a
version
lot of sword and sorcery
Conan.
types of movies that came about in the 80s.
This
I
had
think
a lot of
Conan kind of
iconic
sparked a
characters.
lot of that.
This one had the. Do you remember the things at the end? This one
No,
had a lot
I've
of cool stuff.
forgotten
This one had a
a
lot
lot.
of cool stuff in it. A lot.
I've
of cool
forgotten a
stuff
lot
in it.
about that. So there were a lot of wizards in here. There was.
Yeah, there was a whole like. Yeah, there was some wizards in here for sure. I don't know if a lot, like all those guys are like cultists and wizards and. But
And what is the Last Unicorn? That sounds familiar.
The Last
That's an
Unicorn's a
animated
cartoon,
movie about a unicorn.
but it's a good one, for sure.
Jeff Bridges.
Aurelia used to love.
Yes,
The Last Unicorn.
Mia Farrow as well. Yeah.
I've never
This
seen it. She
this
used
one
to
is
watch it
Rankin
in
and
the car.
Bass, and it's actually
Oh.
incredible. This one gives me like this one haunts me. Like when I was, or
I have
rather
not seen
haunted
this.
me when I was a kid.
I haven't seen it either.
It has a lot of iconic stuff in it. Actually, we should watch this one. We should totally watch because if you both haven't seen it,
Yeah, I haven't. I
and I
Aurelia
barely remember
used to
it.
watch it,
I've
so
been
I
wanting
heard
to look
bits
it
and
up.
pieces.
This skeleton is very memorable.
Oh dang!
He-
Someone
he-
mentioned
okay.
Deathstalker. I don't know if I haven't seen that one.
Deathstalker.
Yeah,
Yeah, we could do Last Unicorn. I don't think it's
I'm
that
down
long
for
either.
that.
It's not a
I
huge
haven't seen
film.
it,
Me too.
Deathstalker.
but yeah, what's that about? Deathstalker.
It looks like Sword and Sorcery as well.
It's another one of those. Yeah.
A lone warrior nicknamed Deathstalker.
look at the rating
is
on
set
this
by
one.
a
Yeah, I
witch
just
on a
noticed
quest to find a
4.6,
sword.
so it probably is.
Oh, look, it
not
looks awful. Look at this.
Oh yeah, it looks
Oh
bad.
yeah, I definitely want to see this.
Oh gosh, Jeff.
This is all. It looks like they keep like.
Why do you like to watch horrible movies?
Because
This-
they're fascinating.
No.
Whoa, nice
Especially
work
old
there.
ones. Look at that. Oh,
This
there's
reminds
pig.
me of
There's a
Flash
pig.
Gordon almost. With
There
the
was
way
a
they,
pig. That would be a crossover.
The imagery. Wow.
I feel like it's visually pleasing in the trailer, but if you actually watched it, it would be a
It
complete
doesn't look that
slog.
visually appealing.
I don't
I
don't
like all
mind
these
watching
shots
this
of this
on my
shiny
own with somebody
sword.
else or whatever. I bet it's really terrible and very amusing.
You wanna watch the trailer? We're gonna
Oh
get-
gosh, we're
think
gonna get
there's anybody
copyright
around to
struck.
copy strike us for Deathstalker?
Yeah, they will. They
Journey
will.
to an age of great kingdoms. An age of awesome magic. An age of terrifying evil. Where one man sought the key to the ultimate power.
Enough.
I can't hear you too well. It's pretty loud.
Enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was curious.
I'd rather see The Last Unicorn if
Yeah,
I had
The
to
Last-
choose between
The
those.
Let's do
two.
the last unicorn then.
Unicorn.
It's Rankin Bass. Yeah, let's do it.
And it's got a cool theme song.
It's what? It's what? What did you say, Jeff?
Rankin
It's-
Bass.
What? Who is that?
Arthur
That's
Rankin
the
and
same
Bass.
people who. That's the same people who did
The other
Uh,
one, the bunny
Secret of
one.
Nim.
Oh, no.
Hang on, I'll show you.
No.
The Hobbit.
Don Bluth was Secret of Nim.
The Hobbit. They did The Hobbit.
Oh right,
that-
no, you're right. You're right. The Hobbit. Yeah.
The
They
Hobbit,
also
yeah.
did. They also did Thundercats,
Okay.
Oh really?
and they did all
That
the
makes
other
sense.
like spin-offs if that's nonsense.
The Wind in the Willows.
Oh, that's funny. They did the Coneheads movie.
Flight of the Dragons. The Flight of the Dragons. Holy shit. Oh man, I loved that movie so much when I was a kid.
Oh, that's another animated
Ba,
one.
da, da, da,
Never saw that one either.
Da, 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 da. That's Rankin Bass's thing. Is fucking awesome music.
Yeah, agreed. Because The Last Unicorn has a legit soundtrack.
Da, 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 da.
Oh, that's
Flight
what the
of
last-
Dragon.
Yeah, Hobbit too. They had some cool music in The Hobbit.
Oh man, the Hobbit soundtrack.
Oh yeah, I remember
Oh, my
watching
God,
that
it's
in
so
school.
good.
I remember watching that in school.
Wait, the soundtrack. Do you guys talking about the one with that Leonard Nimoy sings?
No,
sang
that's
in
this.
that?
That's Flight of the Dragons.
Leonard Nimoy sings in this one.
I don't know if he's. Well, I know he's
I
in
know
it.
he sings a Bilbo Baggins in the One Ring. He has a song.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't know that in the animated Hobbit movie.
I thought it was him. No.
No, I mean
Hang
you
on.
might be completely right. I just had no idea that was him. It's been years since I've seen the Hobbit movie.
Dude, it's so
Bilbo,
good.
Bilbo
Especially if you compare it to the new movies. Oh my god. Like the new movies are so bad in comparison
Yeah.
to the old Hobbit cartoon.
Oh Jesus! I just walked into search. Oh. All right, we're
I
good
know
then. We
Leonard
figured it out.
Nimoy
We're
is
good.
in Flight of Dragons though. He's one of the
You know, there's
he's that
definitely
green
wizards
dude, I
in the
think.
Hobbit too. So
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe he probably just wanted to do a song
think.
about it or something.
Isn't he?
Have you guys
Maybe
ever
not.
seen the video?
What video?
The video of Leonard Nimoy in The Hobbit.
no, I didn't even
Okay,
know
here
he
we
was
go.
in
Here
the
we go.
Hobbit.
I don't care about the strike.
Okay.
Nimoy, the Hobbit song.
There we
I
go.
don't know what it's called. Bilbo Baggins. Yeah, here we go. Look at this shit.
Right. This has nothing to do with the cartoon at all.
In the middle of the earth, in the land of Shire, lives a brave
weird,
little
right?
hobbit whom
Like,
we
he just
all
decided he wanted to do a song
admire.
about the
One
Hobbit?
wooden pipe,
what
fuzzy
weirdo.
woolly toes. He lives in a hobbit hole and everybody
this?
knows him. Bilbo Baggins, he's only 3 feet tall. Bilbo Baggins, the bravest little hobbit of them all.
What a weird, like, total, All right, we don't have to.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
definitely
this is not
loud.
anything like the soundtrack of the cartoon.
That's what I always think
I-
of. This is what I always think of.
Okay,
when-
so
when-
no, I don't think I've ever seen that. That's kind of cringe.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
the
totally.
last
honest.
unicorn. The
Okay,
last
The
unicorn.
Last
I'm down.
Unicorn.
All right.
We're doing the
Same.
last unicorn
Same.
for the next Soundbooth Theater Live. What date is that?
29th.
All right. November 29th, our cinema segment will
is
be
that-
on the last
is that on
unicorn. So
Thanksgiving
everybody
or
who's
something?
listening now,
It's after
Everyone-
Thanksgiving.
everyone who's listening now, do your homework. Go watch the last
Watch it.
unicorn so that you can hang out with us while
Join
we
in the
review
discussion.
it. Tell all your friends. Do a party. Do some kind of party and watch it together. Have fun and then come watch our stream with us. And we'll review it. I'm really looking forward to it. Rankin Bass is fucking awesome. I've liked pretty much everything I've watched from them. So, anyway, Aaron J. Morton's gonna play us out with Cruisin'. Don't forget to pick up the latest episode of Dungeon Crawler Carl, the audio immersion tunnel, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Cheers, all.
Adios.